everybody gets all excited seeing fish breaking on the surface and, they want to catch them, which is great. But yeah, a lot of your bigger fish just kind of hang out below all that.
Hello and welcome back to the Fat Dad Fishing Show. I'm your host, Rich Natoli, and we've got a show with a returning guest, but not from the Fat Dad Fishing Show, from when I was on Salt Strong, doing the Salt Strong podcast. We have Captain Kayla Hale coming on. She's got some news to share as well, and we're going to be talking multi-species. Now, Kayla fishes the northern Chesapeake, so you're talking freshwater, brackish water, striped bass, all of the things that you're going to want to get up at striped bass. I mean, redfish. She's got a ton of stuff in her feed, so you should really check it out if you haven't already. Want to let you know, if this is your first time here checking out this show, either on the podcast or the live stream, if you enjoy it, if you think it's halfway decent at all, it would be great if you do a like, do some comments, share it out to people that you think might also want to check out the show. Leave a review. That's really going to help. There are some guests, not Kayla, but other guests that say, well, before I agree to come on, how many people watch? How many people listen? I need to see your stats. So help us out with that. That would be great. Going to hit the sponsors real quick, and then we're going to bring Kayla on. The first sponsor is Great Bay Outfitters on Radio Road in Tuckerton, New Jersey. My hometown kayak shop that I head down to. Paul and his group, they got everything. Whether you're looking for a new kayak, whether you want a new used kayak, Old Town, native, they've got a whole bunch of different types of kayaks in there. So go in there, and one of the coolest things is you can demo at the shop. It's right on the water. He'll throw it in the water. You can go around the basin with it, test it out, see how it feels. And I'll tell you what, that is the single most important thing that you can do when you're looking for a kayak. Don't listen to people, don't listen to me when I say get an Old Town big water. I'm telling you that because I love it. It doesn't mean that you're going to love it. Also, it does have the Garmin Force motor in, and that's a pretty badass addition to a kayak. So he's got that rigged on some. So if you want to test that out as well, you can do that. Next one is Quad State Tune. Kevin Driscoll, 484-633-5975. Kevin has pretty much what you need if you have a Toyota truck, a 4Runner, Tundra, Tacoma, Lexus 460 or 470. These tunes are for the engines. It's going to get you better gas mileage, more torque, more horsepower. And if you have one of those Gen 3, I think it was the Gen 3 Toyota Tacoma, it's going to solve the gear seeking where you're going down the road and it doesn't seem to want to kind of place itself into the right gear. So it's pretty inefficient, or it feels inefficient, feels a little wonky. It'll fix that for you. Talk to Kevin if you're not sure if it's something that you should do. If it's not, he will just tell you, no, don't get it. And then the last one is Me for Real Estate, Southeastern Pennsylvania, mainly residential. If you need anything, if you know anyone that needs anything, reach out to me. My number is 267-270-1145. Be happy to help you out with anything that I can. And with that said, we're going to jump right in. I'm going to bring Kayla Hale on screen now. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
It's good to see you again.
Thanks. Good to see you too. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I keep getting the feedback. When I have women anglers on, I pick really good ones. And you weren't on, you were on live stream with me and podcast, but it was with Salt Strong. Mm-hmm. And look, I did Salt Strong for a while, a lot of people listening and watching, but this is really what I like doing over here with this group of people, and they haven't seen you. So yeah. I was like, I got to get Kayla back on, and you've got some stuff going on. You've got fish that I'm jealous of. You fish really close to most of our viewers. Mm-hmm. You know, most of our viewers are New York, New Jersey, Maryland, mm-hmm. and almost all of them are willing to travel.
Yeah.
So
well,
why not travel to see you?
You have to travel to find them. So, I go to Jersey. I've gone to New York. I've gone to Rhode Island, Connecticut, Maine, Massachusetts. Sometimes you got to go the distance to get a bite. So
yeah, but one thing that I really like about you is you're located in a great spot for multiple species, and you hit multiple species throughout the year. So We're going to talk about some of the different species that you're targeting. But before we do that, why don't we start by kind of jumping in, talk about your business? Where are you? What do you do? What do you typically target? And then we'll go in and we'll start talking about some of these species.
Yes, so I run River Queen Guide Service. So 2026 will be my 6th year guiding, and I'm very, very excited to share some news, which many people probably already know, but I am currently in the process of getting a new rig built, a new custom jet boat by Rockproof Jet Boats. They're located in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So I'm sure some of your listeners have seen some rockproof boats around, especially in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
They're all over the Susquehanna River. But I am very, very excited to get this rig built and get it done and get it out on the water. Actually, just got back a little while ago from seeing it, and I talked to Andrew, who's been great with helping me build it. He's didn't give me an exact date as to when it's going to be done, but it's probably going to be by the end of the month. I mean, it's built, it just has to go through the painting process,
All the fittings.
mounting the motor, and I picked out some pretty cool flooring for it. I got some neat lights going on it, and it's a custom, like it's going to be the first one, a one of one jet boat, and I'm really, really, really excited for it. And
That's awesome.
I'm so excited to share it with future clients, past clients, my family, my friends. This has been a dream of mine for a really long time, and just the fact that it's now a reality and happening, I'm itching so bad. I want to share the news with everybody, and I've been keeping some pictures hidden and to myself about it, and it's just, I can't wait to share it with everybody.
I can't wait to see it. It's funny. I had a few years ago, I had Captain John Halkias on, and he was talking about his new boat, and it's almost like talking to a parent who has a new kid.
Oh my gosh.
Just the joy that you see in a captain's eyes when they have a new rig coming that is one that they have designed and they have put together with their business in mind. Talk to Scotty Sevens. He's like, I have this ugly boat. Other people would hate it, but it's perfect. It's perfect for what he does. And it sounds like that's what you're looking forward to.
Yeah. I mean, like I just grew up running jet boats. My dad was one of the first people on the lower Susquehanna River below Conowingo to actually have a jet boat. So, that's kind of how I just grew up fishing, was running shallow, skinny water. So learning how to run a river and read a river through him, it made me who I am today. So, just having that teacher show me how to do it. And then, I bought my own jet boat from actually another guide who guides up on the Susquehanna River. He was in the process of getting a custom jet boat built for his business as well at the time. So I bought his old boat that he guided out of for years. And it was a great stepping stone. It was a perfect starter jet boat for me. I ran trips out of it for years, and I was more than happy to then pass that boat along to another young man who bought it from me in July. And I'm not gonna lie, I cried for a couple days. And when I saw it leave, I shed a couple tears, but I knew the young man that bought it, I knew he was gonna learn so much, take care of it, and I told him, I was like, give her hell. Like, that's what I did. And it taught me so much. And I just, this process, it's like my little, I don't have children yet, but if this is anything what it's like to have a kid, I'm so excited.
Look, it's exciting anytime that, anyone, whether it's a boat, a kayak, whatever it is that a truck,
Oh my
if you're a
gosh.
surf fisherman, all of these things, I mean, it's your platform.
Hmm.
It's exciting,
Yeah.
and I can't wait to see see some. I can't wait to see the pictures from the first bloody deck that you have on that thing. And
That's
so
what.
let's say you get it at the end of this month, so late September, early October. What's your first trip that I know you're going to take it out yourself? You're not doing a charter day one, so you're
Yeah,
going to take
no.
it out for the shakedown and all that
Hmm.
stuff. What are you targeting to start off with?
So it's funny you asked that. My brother and I, we were actually out fishing yesterday, and my dad was nice enough to let us take his boat. And we were talking about that, and I was like, Eddie, what do you think our first trip? Because the first people on my boat will be my brother and my dad, without a doubt.
Yeah.
They are my two, they are my best friends. They're the two people I will fish with every single day of my life if I could. But we were talking about it. I was like, what should our first trip be? And I'm like, well, it's gonna be October. I'm hoping that, we get some kind of rain or a hurricane would be awesome.
Yeah.
Um, but honestly, just taking it right outside of where the boat is being built, like the shop is right in Harrisburg near, there's a Statue of Liberty on the Susquehanna
Yeah.
River right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
It's called Fort Hunter. Honestly, just taking it out right there and catching some smallmouth would be epic. I mean,
Yeah.
that would be super special. Like that's where I learned a lot about the Susquehanna River, just right in that stretch. But also part of me wouldn't mind doing that in the morning and then heading back down closer to my home in Baltimore and going out and trying to catch striped bass.
Throw
So,
that thing on the trailer as soon as you get the
oh yeah,
smallmouth
as
done.
soon as the smallmouth hits the deck, I'll be like, all right, time to go. Let's go get a striper.
That's awesome.
Because both of those fish are probably my top two favorite species to target.
Yeah, I was going to say, so those that, for the live stream, and I'm going to put this on the podcast art too. That, I mean, you've caught some really nice striped bass.
Hmm.
The one, look, it looks like it's just as big as you. It looks like I mean, I don't think you could stretch your hands any further apart to hold that thing up. It's a great picture. You sent me a lot of good pictures, and I was like, no, it's got to be this one. Like, you can barely see, but this smile is the
Oh yeah.
smile that we all have when we catch a big one. I do want to bring this one comment up first. So Casey is the one that bought the boat, right?
Yes. So Casey
Yeah,
is
there's Casey. Yep,
oh,
already
hi
learned
Casey.
so many lessons.
Yeah, I'm so excited for him. And we keep in touch quite often. And he's always sending me pictures of all the fish he's catching. And, I'm so happy that he came across my my Facebook Marketplace post because, there's nobody else I think I would pick again to have that boat. So
That's great, and you'll get to wave to Casey as you're flying to the next spot in the fall in a few
yeah,
weeks. You'll
yeah.
be out there. All right, so you're going to hit some smallmouth. Let's talk about the striped bass because
Hmm.
the striped bass, I mean, that's going to be the fall fishery. So here's a it's going to sound like a weird question. Where are you fishing, Pennsylvania, or are you fishing Maryland so which regs are you worried about?
So right now I'm fishing strictly in Maryland for striped bass.
Okay.
The schoolie fish right now are in the Chesapeake Bay pretty good. So right now is mainly the upper Chesapeake Bay. And when it starts cooling off, a lot of fish will start moving into the tributaries of the bay. So I'll start hitting some rivers and stuff like that. But yeah, right now it's mainly the upper Chesapeake Bay for stripers. And then once it cools
Okay.
off, I love going with one of my best friends. We love going to New Jersey and hitting the Jersey run off the beaches there. Last fall was like something out of National Geographic. I had never seen so much bunker and stripers busting on the surface, and then a random whale would show up. Like,
Yeah.
and the tuna fishery up there. That was one of the first times I did that. I didn't actually like fish because I was too scared to hook into a tuna, but my friends that I was with, they hooked into one, and it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. So once like late November hits, that's, I'll go to New Jersey and start
Yeah.
fishing there. And then once wintertime hits, the migrating cows start to move into the lower Chesapeake Bay.
Right.
Um, and then I'll start targeting them too.
But so clear this up for me. You have the canal. It's the D&C canal that really is the feeder out
Hmm.
of the Delaware, right? Do you see now the larger size fish coming through there that we used to, God, 15 years ago? Or is it mainly that they're pushing in from south at this point?
See, that's something, I think about often. I'm like, because I do fish the upper bay, we do see those big breeding stock of fish up here too. It's like, are they traveling? I don't know if they're traveling through the C&D or if they're moving up through the bay. Like last year, I tried to keep more of an intel on like when I heard the first batch of like big stripers were moving into the bay. I'm like, okay, well, how many weeks or even days later until I catch one up, up my way?
Right.
And it's hard to pinpoint. Like, I don't know if they utilize the C&D. I would be very surprised if a couple of them, do go through there. I mean, it's easy access, and they always
Yeah.
say, where a striper is born, they return to that spot every year. So
I know that,
I
look,
would,
fish in the Delaware there, it's going to be packed with fish.
right.
So you would think that some have to head down
Oh,
through there,
yeah.
but you've also seen the Susquehanna Flats take a
Hmm.
real turn to the negative. It's
Right.
nowhere near what it was. So I've always wondered, is it that the canal isn't just bringing, is it that the fish are not coming in the canal like they used to? Because look,
Hmm.
we know like the entire striped bass behavior and migration is different today.
Hmm.
That, well, I'm going to say we know, because this is what I believe and what a lot of people believe. It's not that there's less fish necessarily, it's that they are in different places.
Hmm.
I mean, they're catching them 100 miles offshore in the canyons,
Right.
and they used to be inside the 3 mile line,
Hmm.
which is why it's so great when they
Hmm.
actually push into New Jersey. Where are you going in New Jersey? Are you going North Jersey? You have to be going North Jersey when you head
Yeah,
there.
so I mean, I've gone to North Jersey. I've spent some time near like Atlantic City. Yeah, so a lot of it too is just like, I don't want to say I follow the fleet, but
Oh,
just scouring the beaches. I mean, we've gone all the way up to almost the New York border,
yeah.
from launching out of Atlantic City. Just
Oh, gotcha.
driving all the way up there and then all the way
Yep.
back down. So it's a lot of running, but once you find them, it's game on. So,
It's absolute mayhem.
oh yeah,
Yeah, and
it's
and
crazy.
and if you go at the right time, you're hitting the 50 pounders, the
Oh
40
yeah,
to
I catch
60
them,
pounders in that.
yeah, on top water, on spooks, and it's just like I said, it's stuff out of National Geographic and stuff I lose sleep over.
Yeah. I haven't gone striped bass fishing in a very long time. And while I like it, I don't put it as one of my top
Hmm.
species to target. I just don't for some reason. But I am going, like, I have this feeling like right here in my neck,
Hmm.
like in my throat, like I just thinking about getting on some big striped bass again, because
Yeah.
it's been way too long. And I remember the pictures of everybody last year when I was, laid up,
Hmm.
and I can't wait to get out there. And
Yeah.
whether it's surf, it's the backwaters. I was asking where in New Jersey, mainly because if you're really going to go, you have to go north of AC unless you have the
Hmm.
exact right conditions, because it
Hmm.
seems like, the state kind of curves in, and it's like they go straight south and then they get out beyond that 3 mile
Right.
line and then you
Right.
can't catch them again. And, well, maybe I'll see you on a beach, or maybe you'll be
Maybe.
pulling up on a jetty and I'll be telling you to back up and give me some room,
Maybe. That'd be
which happens a
sweet.
lot. But I'll tell you what, the if you head all the way up towards Raritan Bay,
Mm-hmm.
when you have a Raritan Bay bite, I would say it is literally the best striped bass bite in the
Mm-hmm.
world when it's going. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it is absolute insanity. Absolute insanity.
Yeah.
And what's even more entertaining is you have the New York boaters
Oh yeah.
versus the Jersey boaters, and they hate each other, but
Oh
they're all
yeah.
from Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah.
So they act like they're all so different. But
Right.
yeah, you get the
Right.
battles on the water.
Oh
All right,
yeah.
so you're heading out. You're going to head out for when you're heading out for striped bass in the fall. Let's start with the Chesapeake. Let's talk there. We don't have to talk about the New Jersey. I want to try to get to this. Are you approaching them differently in the Chesapeake than we're approaching them as far as tactics or baits or anything like that? So what are you using as your first? You don't know anything that's going on. You just know you're going out for the first time in the fall for striped bass. What are you tying on, and what's your tactic?
So my go-to in the fall is like a minnow plug. So like a 4 or 5 inch minnow plug, like a Yozuri, like an SP minnow might be a little too big, but
Mm-hmm.
something of that style, that is my go-to. I always look for kind of like rocky edges, and I'm a shallow water girl, so I'm not fishing in anything more than like 10 feet. Uh,
Okay.
so anything like that, or at sunset, a good top water. Can't go wrong with a spook. You can't go wrong with a popper, anything like that. Or I'm starting, well, I don't want to say I'm starting. I've always thrown glide baits,
Yeah.
but glide baits is becoming a very popular lure for stripers. My brother got me hooked on glide bait fishing years ago. He's been fishing glide baits, gosh, uh, he was still in, I feel like, middle school, but he was throwing them for largemouth bass in some local reservoirs and lakes and doing an absolute reckoning on them. And I was like, well, why can't you throw these for stripers or even smallmouth? Like I throw them for smallmouth bass on the Susquehanna River, and yeah, glide baits are a huge, huge game changer, an expensive one, but
Yeah.
it can
They
be
are
worth it.
expensive.
Yeah.
But so and glide baits, I think, are underutilized all over. I mean,
Hmm.
even, you hear that they're popular in Texas. Well,
Hmm.
but they're not as popular as they should be. And
Right.
all it takes is go out and use one. But what size are you using when you're going for
Um,
striped bass?
so it all depends. Like right now, or like in the fall, I would be throwing kind of a smaller glide bait just because your bunker is not fully grown yet. So like a
Yep.
5 or 6 inch or 7 inch glide bait would be perfect. But then when spring hits and later spring is when I throw the bigger glide baits, at least for
Right.
smallmouth. I've noticed that is when they like the big ones.
It's funny that you're talking about a 7-inch glide bait as a small
Well,
glide bait.
I want to like I have a couple glide baits that are pushing a foot long. My brother, he's got some that I was like, dude, that is ridiculous. You are not going to catch anything. Like they're 14, 15 inch glide
Yeah.
baits. I'm like, you're not
They
going to
hit
catch
the water, and
anything.
it's like throwing a 2x4 in the water,
Oh
but they
yeah,
work.
yeah. Look, when I saw him catch a 7 pound largemouth on like a 15 inch glide bait, I was like, okay, where do I buy one? Where do I sign up? But yeah, the thing with glide baits though is you definitely don't catch the numbers of fish as you would on
Right.
other artificial lures, but the quality, it'll get you hooked.
Yeah. I had one glide bait that I bought a couple years ago to test out for striped bass, and I lost it on the first one. It was like a
Oh,
$27.
oh,
It's
that's
like
cheap.
it was cheap,
That's a
but
cheap
on
glide
the
bait.
first one that I didn't even land, I was like, "Come on, man!"
Yeah, that's
And it was all
heartbreaking.
my fault. It was totally my fault. I didn't tie it right, and it was one of the few times that I had a knot part. And I
Oh,
looked at it, I was like, "Oh my god, it was the knot."
mm,
So
that's even
yeah,
worse.
but that is not. an expensive one. It wasn't a great one, but it
Right.
worked. And I did hook one, I guess it's 2.5 years ago. And the fish, it was a schoolie size, maybe
Mm-hmm.
25, 27 inches
Mm-hmm.
max. And yeah, it hit it. I set the hook and it was on for about 3 seconds
Oh,
and it just swam away with my $30.
oh,
But I do like the glide baits. I do
yeah,
like them. So, okay. So you're going to
yeah,
go out with the glide bait. Do you use soft plastics at all?
I do. I do. So I'm a big, I love paddle tails. Um,
Yeah.
I know everybody throws those NLBN,
Yeah.
no live bait needed. There's a local company here in Maryland, Invincible Jigs. They're phenomenal. I'm a big local supporter.
Yeah, I
So
was going to say highlight all the locals.
yeah,
Whether
so
highlight local over anything else. I don't is no live bait needed even considered local at this point?
I mean they're based out of Florida. So,
Yeah.
I know they're selling in stores basically up and down the East Coast, I think at this point.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there's the local company that just started, Invincible Jigs here in Maryland. They're a great group of guys too. Same style, paddle tail. Quality is they don't rip as hard as NLBNs, and I think for the price that we're paying for some of these soft plastics, you catch two fish and it's trashed.
Right.
At least with Invincible, it's kind of it's the stretchy material like Z-Man,
Yep.
and being able to catch a dozen fish on a paddle tail is a little
That's I mean that
is a
that's
little
big when
nicer
you're
than
spending $10 a bag,
for sure, for sure.
Yeah. So I find when I'm using the soft plastics, I tend to go small,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where I get the numbers and some quality.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the bigger baits, even let's say a spook. I'll use a
Mm-hmm.
spook junior,
Mm-hmm.
but again, it's the same thing. I just find like you'll get the occasional big fish on
Right.
those, but I found that you will get almost as many fish but bigger fish on the bigger baits. And it seems to make
Mm-hmm.
sense. But look, we've all caught striped bass that are, 10 inches on a 9-inch lure. I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Mm-hmm.
they'll all go after the bigger ones, but
Right.
I think that's an important thing. But one thing I did want to mention, and it's something I do, I want to see if you do this. When you had the bunker schools in and you're fishing around these schools and they're getting blown up. So let's say that it's peanut bunkers. So you got the little small ones, maybe they're
Mm-hmm.
5 inches. Are you matching that hatch, or are you doing what I do and you're switching out to a different size of the same profile? So are you tossing out maybe an 8 or a 9-inch to make it stand out from that school?
I would probably throw something bigger. And like another thing I've noticed, especially with stripers, when they're busting on the surface, a lot of what you're seeing are like the smaller
Yeah.
fish with like an occasional big blow up here and there. But a lot of your bigger fish are below that, initial fish popping on the surface. So I'll throw something a little bigger, and instead of, cranking it real hard across the surface and catching your smaller fish, let it sink down
Yeah.
and slow reel it. I mean, work it like a normal paddle tail. But yeah, that's where your bigger fish typically tend to hang. It's like below the smaller ones. Everybody gets all excited
Yeah.
seeing fish breaking on the surface and, they want to catch them, which is great. But yeah, a lot of your bigger fish just kind of hang out below all that. And yeah,
So
that's
here's the
that's one
question.
of my little
If you're going
secrets.
to if you're going to head out for a day and it's just you and one friend, if you're going to head out for a day and at the end of the day, you're going to say it was an awesome day. Is it because you caught a lot of decent fish, or is it that you caught a few, but you caught one trophy?
I would be happy with catching a few, and my friend catches the trophy, not me.
You're one of those.
Yeah, so
Come
I
on, deep
get,
down inside, you know that you want that one.
of course, but the older I've gotten, the more I appreciate seeing other people catch the trophy fish. I mean, that's why I
Yeah.
started guiding. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I I don't want to sound cocky when I say it, but like I've caught a lot of big fish in my life. Granted, I'm always wanting to get that satisfaction and catch another one, but I've just noticed I get more thrill and more joy and more satisfaction from fishing when I see somebody who doesn't do this every day. Like
Yeah.
I have the opportunities, I can go do it all the time. Whereas somebody who books me or my friend who might not have a boat or even just like my brother and my dad, like watching them two hook into two big fish, it is just, I just sit back and I'm just like, this is great. This is what it's all about.
I I'm kind of there with you. There are days like I don't really care because I don't really keep fish. Would I want to get a world record? Absolutely.
Hmm.
But how cool is it to be there and see your buddy catch one?
Oh yeah,
You know, I mean,
it's
that would be amazing.
it's
You know,
great.
just to be present and see that memory and be a
Hmm.
part of it, I guess is the other thing. And then you have Elle here with her comment. She'd rather catch a bunch.
No,
So
understandable.
she's all about the volume of fish. Um,
Understandable.
yeah, I'm weird. Like I want to hook them. I want to fight them. I don't even care if I land them most of the
Hmm.
time. You know, unless I think it's a true trophy or a personal best. Like if
Right.
I lose it, it's like, okay. I caught a striped bass that was, you know, my second biggest one. It was approaching 50 inches. And I didn't even try to land it. I just brought it next to the boat and just kind of like let it
Hmm.
head shake off. I just letting it sit there next to me. And I'm in the kayak and I was like,
Hmm.
that's awesome. And I was like, oh, I got it on video. and of course I didn't have it on video. I thought I did, but my camera was aimed up too high and it's sitting
Uh,
next to me. But it didn't matter because I got everything I wanted to out of the fish. But it's, I think it says a lot about you when you want other people to catch
hmm.
them, when you're on a personal trip too.
Oh yeah, yeah. And that's like
And
so next week I'm fishing a tournament with five of my very, very best girlfriends, and we're an all ladies fishing team.
mm-hmm.
And I'm super, super excited. We did it last year and it was a blast, but I am just so excited to get out with them for 2 days and fish a tournament and just have a good time, watch them catch fish. Like I already told them, I was like, I'll drive the boat, I'll get all, rig up all the rods and everything. And just being able to watch them hook fish and land fish and hopefully be in the running for some money.
Yeah.
Um,
What tournament is it?
it's the Tiki Lee's Rockfish Open or Rockfish Tournament. It's one of the bigger tournaments on the Upper Chesapeake Bay. I mean, you
Yeah.
can fish the
Yeah.
whole bay, but it's based out of Tiki Lee's,
All right. I
and
got to put this
it's
comment up.
it's in
Brackish Babes.
yeah, that's our team name.
That's your
That's
name. Okay.
yeah, that's one of the girls on the team, Melody.
All right, Melody. So anyone fishing that tournament, look for the Brackish Babes on the leaderboard. How did you do
Hopefully.
last year?
I can't remember where we placed last year, but it wasn't in the top 10 unfortunately, but we did so we missed they have a catfish Calcutta
Yeah.
and we missed winning the catfish Calcutta by like a pound. It was something so silly. But the girl that caught it, Rachel, watching her, she's like a 5'2", about as big as my left leg, carry this giant blue catfish across the dock to the scales. Was the highlight for me.
Yeah.
This thing was huge. I can't remember how big it was. It was like 30 some pounds. It was giant.
Well, those things they get huge. Now we talked a couple of years ago about the blue catfish, and
Hmm.
you weren't quite sure what to think about them at the time, except that they were fun to target.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, they're fun to target, but nowadays, and I might get some hate for this, but kill them all.
yeah,
There
it's
are,
gotten to that point.
yeah, it's gotten to that point, and people have been saying, oh, the snakeheads are destroying the bay, and the blue cats are doing more damage than I can imagine. I mean, I've seen guys catch them and cut their stomachs open and have, I mean, 4 or 5 inch blue crabs in his stomach, like up to 10 of them.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
these fish, I've seen them in the lower Susquehanna River with 4 or 5 pound smallmouth in its mouth.
Oof.
And these things are eating stripers,
They're
anything.
cleaning everything out.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. It's too bad they don't get the zebra mussels.
seriously.
It's when we talked about it, you weren't quite sure which direction it was going to go. So you were kind of waiting to see.
Mm-hmm.
So you've gone towards they are everything that we feared them to be.
Mm-hmm.
Snakeheads, on the other hand, I think they have turned into be the biggest non-issue I've ever
For
seen.
sure. I
Like they don't
totally
they don't
agree.
do anything, and everyone's like, kill them all, kill them all. I'm like, I don't think you need to kill them all. Like, just let them go, because they're not killing things. I see them swimming next to bass
Mm-hmm.
at this dam right near my house in this little creek,
Mm-hmm.
and the creek is producing just as many little, smallmouth and everything as
Mm-hmm.
it used to.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I
the catfish,
definitely
man, that's another
agree.
thing.
Yeah, the blue cats are just detrimental. It's becoming a serious problem, and I think too with the snakeheads, a lot of people were saying how they think they're going to destroy the bay and what I think because there's so many people out there targeting snakeheads now that people have caught on to how fun they are to catch, good they are to eat.
That's the
Um,
key.
those two factors right there, so many people and you know, between rod and reel fishermen and bow fishermen too, like there so many people want to either catch them rod and reel or shoot them. So I think with the amount of attraction that they've brought to the fishing community, I'm kind of hoping that the blue cat thing catches on board like that. I don't
Yeah.
know. I personally haven't targeted blue cat like I have snakeheads just because I'm like, ugh, catfishing, like it can be
Yeah.
fun. Like
They're
trust
fun
me,
to
like
catch. They're not fun to fish for.
right. I'm not a bottom fisherman. I mean, but blue
Right.
cats, we've caught them throwing paddle tails and throwing lures in the river, and they hammer it like stripers do.
So
So,
that so that tournament is $100,000 prize, is what James put in the chat,
hmm
right? Could you
hmm
imagine $100,000 prize? Just call it the Clean the Bay tournament. $100,000 for the most blue cats. The most.
that would be cool.
Or I mean,
I
why
mean, if
why don't
you
we
can
do
gain the
that?
attraction, like that would be great. But people see, because they're an invasive species, like
Yeah, but you gotta harvest them all. You gotta weigh them
right,
all in.
right,
Harvest.
kill it.
You can have up to 6 people per boat.
Right, right.
Heaviest poundage wins.
I think it's just getting the attraction to it. That would be
Yeah.
great.
So I went out, full disclosure, I went out and I have a bow that I'm getting set up for bow fishing.
Hmm
And I can't bring myself to go for snakehead because I don't know that I would want to harvest them, even though they taste good.
hmm
So now I'm like, well, now I have this bow that I have for bow fishing. What am I going to go after? But I don't really have a blue cat issue up here. And it's going to be tough to get a blue cat on a bow,
hmm
but maybe I can try that. And people keep telling me go for carp. Well, carp, I don't think there are certain carp that are bad, but the common carp haven't done anything to the environment either that I
Right.
can tell. So I don't even want to go for them.
Well, another thing that's really fun is you can shoot rays down here,
Oh, really?
and a lot of guys will go out and you can do that during the day too, which also is a plus. You're not up till 2 and 3 in the morning shooting
Yeah.
fish, but yeah, daytime ray shoots are a lot of fun. And rays are bad for the bay too because they eat all the crabs and
Yeah.
stripers and anything else. So
All right. Maybe I'll do that. I'll
yeah,
finish getting it set up and maybe I'll do something like that. I just don't like I don't know. You only kill them to harvest them. So
right,
I only want to kill something that I'm going to eat or
right.
that's invasive. So it really narrows it down.
Well,
When I was a
guys,
teenager, we used to go and shoot anything with the bows and go
hmm
bow fishing. And it didn't matter what it was, we would
hmm
shoot it
hmm
or try to shoot it. But I'm not like that anymore.
I get it.
I don't know.
It's not for everybody. I've done it. I have a bow myself. I enjoy it. I don't do it all the time, just for that same reason. Like I just don't want
Well,
to
there's
go
at
out
least
just to kill. Like At
Right.
least
Well,
what
there's
I
at least more
shoot, I
sport
want to
than
bring home.
gigging.
Right.
Yeah. That's why I won't go gigging. They're like, oh, it's great. It's so much fun. I'm like, but is it? I mean, you just kind of troll the shallows and stab something with a
Stab some
fork.
fish.
Yeah, it's like I don't know about that. Like, oh, well, you can get some great flounder. I'm like, yeah, understood. Yes, if you're just going to harvest dinner, I get it.
Right.
But I don't know. I like, do I need to spend all night doing that? I'd rather just sit somewhere, and stalk a shoreline or a
Hmm.
bridge or something like that, and actually fish
Hmm.
for them and try to catch them if I'm going to go for a limit.
Right. It's
But
fun though. I like for me too with bow fishing. It's fun when I go bow fishing in areas where I also rod and reel fish.
yeah,
Because at night with the lights, it shows like it shows where I'm fishing and like I can see the bottom where I'll be like, oh, I didn't know a log was there, or I didn't know it, I knew it would drop off, but I'm like, oh, I didn't know it was like sandy to rocky. So it's like a learning curve too.
oh yeah, you're fine. You're finding spots at night.
Hmm. Hmm.
So how deep? What's the deepest water that you'll shoot something on the bottom?
I like 4 foot, and that's
4.
that's
Okay.
deep. I
I was going
mean,
to say that's beyond
yeah,
where
yeah.
I was ever able to do
That's
it.
pretty deep, but like I said, I'm not a pro bow fisherman, so I just
Yeah.
go out with some friends that have lights on their boats and
That's my fault for getting us on there. I was just all excited that I got this bow and I was ready to go. And then I
yeah,
realized that my target species is not the target I want.
right, right.
So I had this bow sitting downstairs. I'm like, what am I going to do with it? And maybe I'll go deer hunting. I don't know.
There you
I got
go.
to do something with it. I can't just let it sit there, forever. All right. So we talked a little bit about the striped bass, but what are you doing for more of the freshwater? Is it all smallmouth or is there something else that you're going to be targeting?
Yeah, so it'll usually just be strictly smallmouth. I also enjoy doing some white perch fishing.
Yeah.
I really kind of got into that this summer with my dad and my brother, but we also do it in the spring on the Susquehanna when the big female white perch move in. I feel like that's such an underrated species, but
Yeah.
on ultralight tackle, catching 12, 13-inch white perch is pretty fun. And yellow perch too. Like yellow perch in the winter, same thing. On ultralight, you can't beat it.
I've never caught a yellow perch. I I've tried and I've
They're
always caught
fun. They're
white
fun.
perch. When you're targeting the white perch though, what are you using? Are you using just, trout gear, spinners and those types of things? Or are you throwing out the what are they called? The bloodworm imitation things and just kind of like bait fishing?
So I'm throwing like a little like 3-inch or 2.5-inch little grub
Yeah.
on like a little tiny jig head, like a 16th ounce jig head.
Okay.
And again, it's kind of just for the yellow perch, just finding little schools of them because like, that's a wintertime thing that we do here. And once you find them, they're usually loaded up.
You know, it here's something from Paul at Great Bay Outfitters. White perch from a kayak gets him through the winter. That's
Hmm.
really how I found the white perch. Now I knew about them, I've caught them, but in my mind, white perch used to just be what you went for, what you said you were going for when you were trying to catch striped bass out of season.
Hmm.
That's what it was. And you
Hmm.
still see it today. You go to Jersey and I'm sure Paul, when he's out there fishing, sees this all the time. You see somebody out there with a 7'6" or 7'6" rod, medium heavy, 15-pound braid, and they have this small, just all the only difference is they have a smaller hook on it. So they can pretend that they're going for white perch in January, but they're actually going for striped bass. Right. So to me, that's what it always was. And then I
Hmm.
started catching them in the winter because I needed something. I had to do something and I didn't want to go ice fishing.
Hmm.
And I realized they're so much goddamn fun. Like
Oh yeah,
I could sit there in that freezing cold and it's so much
it's
fun
so
to go for
fun.
these little things. And
Yeah.
I use the little ultralights, the
Hmm.
lightest rod that you can
Hmm.
possibly get.
And that's, pan fishing in the wintertime definitely gets us through. And crappie fishing, chain
Yeah.
pickerel. Me and my dad and my brother, we love chain pickerel fishing. And maybe it's because my dad holds the state record chain pickerel. So
Oh, does he?
Yeah, we like.
Congrats. He's in the chat. Congrats on that. That's
Oh
awesome.
yeah, yeah. He likes to defend his title. So,
Well, maybe he'll come on and he'll talk to us about chain pickerel
oh,
sometime.
I'm sure he would love to. We should do that next time.
Yeah, we're breaking into peppering in some freshwater stuff, but it's mostly still going to be mostly brackish and saltwater.
Mm,
But that's again another species I personally can't talk about. I can't
mm,
talk about it. But back to the perch. Let
mm,
me ask you this. I consider myself really new to perch, right? I don't have all the techniques and everything. I know where to find them, but man, for me, it's a lot of those fish bites and just kind of throwing it out and waiting for the bite. Have you found that in the wintertime, the colder when it's really cold, just pre-ice, how slow do you have to move that? Or because in my mind, the colder it is, the more you need bait and the less that
mm.
you use something that you're tossing and retrieving. Do you find that, or am I just nuts?
No, I definitely think that fish get very lethargic when it gets cold, but they gotta eat. So I honestly don't use bait. A lot of guys will use little shiners or minnows, which do work and they do help, but the slower the better. You don't want to rip a jig across the surface or anything like that, but
Right.
definitely a slower, smoother approach. And I do use fish attractant stuff like Procure, Smelly Jelly, um,
Yep.
and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely just a slower, definitely can be a little monotonous when it's super cold. But yeah, just a slower approach to perch fishing helps.
But it's so much better when you get one in that freezing cold weather
Oh yeah.
too.
Oh yeah. You warm up real quick.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so we're getting close to the hour. We're at 50 minutes right now, and I was telling myself I wasn't going to ask this because people make fun of me for asking about this species all the time, but I'm going to do it anyway. So here's the question. Oh, wrong one came up. Sorry. People are commenting, so it's kind of moving on me. Ask her about redfish fishing. All right.
Okay.
So we may be talking about a little extended range for you.
Hmm.
While you can catch redfish in the Baltimore area. But let's talk about it. In launching from Baltimore area, what's the redfish fishing look like for you if somebody came to you and said, you know, guide for a day and try to get me on one redfish?
I would not launch out of Baltimore, to be honest.
Okay.
Where I go drum fishing is down, it's in the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay. That is where, in my opinion, one of the world's best fisheries I've ever experienced is held. I don't go down there enough, in my opinion, just because it's like a 4.5, 5 hour drive for me.
Yeah.
And usually when the bite is good is also when beach traffic is just the worst. So I
Yep.
don't want to sit, what is normally a 4.5 hour drive turns into a 6 or 7 hour drive.
Yeah.
But the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay is by far one of I'm blessed to have it as close as I do to my home. But yeah, that is where I would go. I don't know if and I sound horrible saying this. I don't know. I wouldn't book me for a trip just because I don't go there enough to
Right.
to do it. And I feel like every time I've gone down, I've just had a horseshoe up my ass with
Yeah.
finding them and
I
catching
see
them.
some of the pictures. I mean, that's a hell of a horseshoe that you got.
Yeah, it's just, it's something I'm still learning to this day. But yeah, the drum fishery down there is just
It's
we're
outstanding.
blessed. We're blessed.
Yeah. It's like Raritan Bay for the striped bass. When they're
Exactly.
there, it's insanity. I would love to go down there again. Great Bay Outfitters. Paul is in
Hmm.
Cape Charles
Yeah.
now, and if I recall correctly from his posts earlier, he's not going to be fishing tomorrow because of the the weather. So he's all the
Oh
way
yeah.
down there.
Well,
He ain't fishing tomorrow.
yeah, and that's the other thing. Like, And I know I'm not the only one saying this. The weather, the wind anymore is just, mm, I
It's
have some
brutal.
choice words for the old wind, but
I
hopefully
haven't
we'll
gone
get
fishing in weeks because the days that I could go are just all blown out.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's like, oh, it's only going to be 18 to 26. Well, I'm not going in 18 to 26.
right.
It's just
And
not going to happen. I'm sure I could find a spot, but I don't want to do that. I want to have
right.
it like a fun day on the water, not just battling and
Hmm.
try not to capsize and all that stuff.
Right.
I got one more question I want to throw in here before I let you go. This is from L. Do you ever catch sturgeon as a bycatch, or have you ever?
I wish, but I have not. The only time I actually caught a sturgeon was out in Washington, or it was Oregon, but I went with my best friend Carly. We booked a vacation and booked a trip out there sturgeon fishing. So that's the only sturgeon I've ever caught, but I know they're out there.
Yeah,
I've seen pictures and I've heard rumors of sturgeon being in the bay, but no, I personally have never caught one while, or at least on this side of the country.
have you ever seen one jump?
Not here. I've seen them up on Lake St. Clair.
Yeah,
I've seen them torpedo out of the water up there, but never
that's a
here.
scary sight. That's a
Yeah.
scary sight. I
Oh
saw it. I
yeah.
saw it in a. I wasn't in a kayak. I was in my boat, not my boat, but the what was the same model that I owned at the time. So it was a skiff.
Hmm.
So you're really low on the water, and this thing shot out of the water. It must have been 6 to 8 feet long.
I can believe
That
it.
thing. I mean, the only thing scarier is when you're fishing offshore and a mako comes flying
Hmm.
across the bow. You know it's not coming for you, but you're looking at hundreds of pounds flying through the air
Yeah.
out of nowhere. It's scary.
That's
I've never caught one though. I've
that's
never
how
caught.
I felt when I was up in Jersey last fall with the whales.
Yeah,
Seeing the whales come up out of nowhere over these pods of bunker, I'm like, holy shit,
it's
guys.
it's crazy. It's crazy.
It
I mean,
reversed.
it's amazing. It is. It's a little scary because you see people trying to get real close to them too,
Right.
and so they screw. Not only do they screw up the fishing because now they're cutting across everything, trying to get their little, their video on their potato phone, but it's. I mean, I don't think they realize how dangerous it is for
Hmm.
them and the whales at the same at the
Right.
same time.
Right.
But they are scary when they come up.
Yeah.
I had, man, this was a long time. Just one real quick story. It turned into not being the whale that we thought. So I was heading out fishing, and we see a whale, and it's coming up and down regular. So we get close, it's dead. And I'll tell you what, the sharks on that thing were amazing coming off of that thing. That's my big whale experience. The
Mm.
closest I got to a real whale was when we pulled up within about, I think we didn't get any closer than 50 yards because the smell was so bad. But there were so many sharks. It was insanity. We were
Oh.
catching them on bucktails, naked bucktails.
Hmm.
Just throw the bucktails all the way out, landing it on the back of the carcass and pulling them off. And as soon as it would come off, they get hit by these sharks. It was
Wow.
so much fun. Yeah, but I'll stay away from the whales when they're coming up on those bunker things because we've all seen the kayak get eaten. We've
Oh
seen the
yeah.
boat capsized.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
thank you.
no, no.
No, thank you.
Is there anything? Do you want to give people an idea how to reach out to you? Because I'm sure that somebody's going to want to get on that jet boat once it's open for business.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully the jet boat will be done in about a month or month and a half, maybe. I'll start booking trips again the first of the year just because I want to get comfortable with it. But anybody can reach out to me on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram. Mainly those two is what I focus on the most. And it's just my name. You can just search Kayla Hale. I believe it pops up under River Queen Guide Service as well. Yeah, so either one of those, just shoot me a message or give me a call, even if you just want to talk fishing. I love talking about it, so
You better watch it. I'll end up calling you.
that's fine. We can chit chat about fishing. I love it.
I spend way too much time in my day talking fishing. Like I'm
Oh
supposed
yeah,
to be working sometimes. I'm like, why have I been texting back and forth? And some of you are in the chat. You know who you are.
yeah.
I'm like, what am I doing? Like, it's been
I
2 hours and I'm talking about these fish, and neither of us are going fishing. We're
Right.
just coming up with ideas
what,
with each other.
like at my work, I have a full-time job too. I don't guide full-time, but I always have like on my computer the Weather Channel tab
Yep.
open, and somebody will walk over and they're like, "Are you checking the weather again? It hasn't changed." And I'm like, yes, it has. You have to look at the winds."
Yes.
And they all make fun of me, and they're like, "Kayla, what's the wind gonna be today?" I'm like, "It's gonna be blowing. Don't worry about it."
It makes all the difference, though. It makes all that's what the weather is to a fisherman. It's the wind first and everything else second.
Exactly.
We can all deal with the rain, especially as we get into the fall and we start targeting the striped bass and rockfish, whatever you want to call them. Those windy, rainy days are the good days, but it has to be coming from the right direction,
right,
for the right amount of time, and then they'll start moving in. So, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. It's good catching up with you again. Can't wait to see those pictures of the first smallmouth to hit the deck, and then the first striped bass. I'll be looking forward to that.
I'm excited.
Make sure you share that. Everyone, reach out to Kayla if you want to book a trip. And before we get going, just to let everybody know, next week we are going to be back. We're going to have Bearded Dad Fishing on. So if you're a kayak fisherman, you've seen him online. He's got one of the largest Facebook groups for kayak fishing dads. And kayak fishing people, and just a really good guy. So Jay's going to be on next week. Again, if you haven't already, follow this, share it. Most importantly, share it out to somebody who might enjoy the show. That would be greatly appreciated. Kayla, thank you again. And everyone, until next week, even with this weather, Paul, you two down there in Cape Charles, everyone get out there, get on the water, get some tight lines.